We Happy Few is about 3 characters that you will play through as in the game. They are named Arthur, Sally, and Oliver. So technically, what We Happy Few, like the lore and story is about, which we will get into a bit later maybe, it's technically in an alternative history where the Germans have won in World War II. And the first character you play as, named Arthur, left his brother named Percival in the train to Germany. And then he stayed into the town that he lived in, which then slowly turned into Wellington Wells. But then that turned into like a garden district. We'll get on all this stuff later. And then he moved to the new Wellington Wells. Now, the thing is though, in Wellington Wells, things aren't so normal. Now, Wellington Wells' rules are actually quite strange. And obviously, if you have known the game for a long time or played the game like I have, you will definitely know that one of the first and most important rules is always take your joy. Now, if you don't know what joy is, this is technically why Wellington Wells was built in the first place. Now, only like a fan, like not even a true fan, just like a gay a person that has seen or like played the game or just seen a bit of it, you will always know to take your joy. Now, this is the reason of joy. Harry Howarth was like the CEO of Howarth Labs, and since the Germans won in World War II, people were demanding him because everyone was so grieving and sad and everything. They were demanding him to try and find a solution to make people happier. And this is when he invented the drug. Yes, it's a drug called joy. Now, if you don't actually take your joy in Wellington Wells or a place that's not the Garden District, you are in for a bad time. No, that is not a Sans reference. I'm being serious. But anyways, as I was saying, Harry Howarth created joy for people to forget about the bad times. And just like any normal drug, yeah, they make you forget some stuff. And, yeah, so, But more about Harry Howarth. If you have played the game, well, you never actually see him, and you might have heard that apparently a couple of days or maybe years after he made the joy, he was last seen slowly disappearing into the forest, and then was never seen again. And then, obviously, because of joy, nobody really talked about Harry Howarth anymore. Strange. I wonder what could have happened to him. Now, the second rule in Wellington Wells is to not wear rags. Now, obviously, yes, wear clothes, but do not wear rags. Now, there are certain clothes in the game, mostly from the Garden District, that seem unpleasant and remind all of the happy people about, well, some really bad stuff. And also, if you do wear normal clothes in the Garden District, yes, it reminds them of all the happy people, and they will try to kill you. So it's technically the opposite for the Garden District and, the normal one that I told you before that in Wellington Wells. By the way, more on the Garden District next. Now, some of the final rules are, well, don't stick your weapon out when in Wellington Wells or even the Garden District. Technically, everywhere you go that has people in it. So if you keep your weapon out from your inventory, people will get you pecked for a wastrel or picked for a wastrel. So you shouldn't be, putting your weapon out really anywhere where anyone is, or they will literally kill you. Yeah. And also some of the other rules is don't run in Wellington Wells. Now, yes, you can run in the Garden District, and also don't go out at night. Now, I haven't really talked about this, but there's actually a curfew in We Happy Few, where bobbies will be out. Now, only if you don't get, like, if you get a certain point thing. By the way, points are like this tree that go into, like, you'll find it in the game. And if you don't get that certain ability that lets you go out at night without the bobbies noticing, you're gonna have a bad time. I'm not going to say it. I'm pretty sure you already know. But yeah. Also, yeah, don't run around anywhere. And don't go out at night in the Garden District either, because even people will get you there. And also, ever heard of the plague? Now, there is a lot of places in the Garden District that I will need to tell you about. But first, ever heard of the plague? The plague is actually a very bad thing, and I'm pretty sure in We All Fall Down, the plague actually gets so bad that it actually gets to Wellington Wells. And I'm pretty sure that's a part of the story of We All Fall Down, but this is everything you need to know before We All Fall Down comes out. Hopefully I upload it by the time it's not coming out yet. Even though my birthday is in like 1 day, almost. And I'm going to be celebrating a lot and taking a break from videos. But I might do a video on the PSVR. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know if this is even going to upload after my birthday. But just to say, this is being recorded before my birthday. So I need to get it done. But anyways, I'm probably not going. Blah, blah, blah. The plague is a very bad sickness that started from the Garden District. And the Garden District is also like a previous Wellington Wells. But then it like... you know, they ran out, you know, a bunch of, the joy was going really bad, and I'm pretty sure it's like an internal loop or something, because that's happening now in the normal Wellington Wells that we know in the original game. And yeah, so the plague would make people, like, go crazy, literally go crazy, and they would try to kill literally everything they see, or everyone they see, even though they haven't done anything to them. And they're probably one of the most powerful characters in the game, even though they are quite dumb. Most of the plague victims can actually be seen in Rat Home, which is another place in the Garden District. You can actually find it in a hatch. Now, I haven't really talked about a hatch either. Hatches are scattered through the whole map, and when you find them, you can go and... you know, track access hatches as well, where you'd put a switch down and you can travel anywhere in a fast pace instead of just walking or running there. Because of curfew and stuff, it'd be really, really hard. So yeah, I do recommend hatches. They are very, very helpful. As I was saying, yeah, most of the plague victims can be found in Rat Home, because Rat Home is where they did the experiments on the plague. They were trying to find a permanent or like a solution to the plague, and it went horribly wrong. But yes, just avoid the plague victims as much as you can, because they are actually quite hard to beat. Also, another rule for the Garden District and even Wellington Wells, don't sneak into other people's houses. Now, I'm pretty sure it was pretty obvious, but just in case you think it's okay to sneak into a person's house in the game, don't. And in the Garden District, I'm pretty sure they even go harder on you. So don't go into a house, don't go through the windows unless nobody is there and you're really good at taking people down. Now, also, when you play as Oliver, or Ollie, as Arthur and Sally like to call him, you will have this sugar bag thing. Where if the sugar, or like, I don't know, I like to call it a sugar bag, or the blood pressure goes down, if you look at a person in the game, you will insult them. This is for the Garden District, and yes, I know, again, Wellington Wells. And if you say it to someone, they will get you, you know, a wastrel or just a really bad person. Also, when you play as Oliver, or Ollie, Garden District people really don't like him. So if they look at you for 1 second, they will come, you know, they will come fight you. Yay. My God. also saying you can actually craft in this game. And also, there are like rows of Gilead, usually, well, technically always, or mostly in the Garden District, and you can use these to craft healing balm. You at least need 2 roses of Gilead to make healing balm. This is how you heal when you get hurt. Now we've pretty much got most of everything you need to know about the original game away. Now it's time to talk about the DLCs. Now the first DLC of 3, by the way, the third one is Wheel Fall Down, so we're not talking about that one. Today we're only talking about the first 2, named They Came From Below and Lightbearer. So first, obviously, we're going to talk about They Came From Below. So They Came From Below isn't as hard as the original game. It's actually quite simple because they're DLCs. And technically, you have this ray gun. You play as Roger and James that worked for Faraday in the original game. And you have to find Dr. Faraday in this underground secret facility under the house. So there's a bunch of these robots, and you use this ray gun to shoot them. Now, the ray gun has 3 bars on it, as you can see. And you have to use this ray gun to shoot the robots. And as soon as all the bars go out, you have to wait for it to charge. So there are 2 modes for this ray gun. One of them is stick, where you can hit them normally without it being charged. Or there's gun. I find gun easier, but you can just hit them with the stick up close while it needs to charge. So you get different upgrades for it as well. And yeah, so all you really have to do is just shoot them like that. But they are also like what I like to call overpower ray gun charge or whatever, overpower charge, where there would be these giant red circles or blue circles. Well, they turn blue when you hit them, and you have to hold the button on the Xbox or PC or all those consoles for the ray gun, and then let go, and it will shoot that target. Some of them only stay blue for a short amount of time, so you'll have to do these pretty quick. And then you can open like a gate or something. They're technically just little simple puzzles from a game that could be a tiny bit ragey. Now, since the DLCs are actually quite short, only about like an hour and a half, though the original game is like 4 to 5 hours. It depends how long it takes you to play. But as I was saying, yeah, so like the final thing I want to talk about here is the different types of robots. Now, they could be quite threatening. They're these like little like, I don't know, fat ones, I guess, little ones. Little, like, stretchier ones, like, a bit stretched out, you get what I mean, that can run faster, with their hands up and can punch you. Again, you use the ray gun, I'm pretty sure, to kill all of these enemies. Now, one of the hardest enemies to kill or defeat, is, the electric robots, like the electro robots. And they can spawn a lot like the headmistress. By the way, the headmistress is something... it's like these joy detectors that would kill you with electric bolts coming out of their head if you don't take your joy. That is another thing that I think I forgot about. So watch out for those in the original game and the DLCs. So you either have to avoid them and run away from them, or and be a bit sneaky and stealthy at the same time without anyone noticing, and stop as soon as you can when they're gone. Or you could just get electrocuted or die or hide somewhere else. Your choice. But yeah, watch out for those in the original game and DLCs. But yeah, the electric robots, they spawn technically the same thing from the headmistress and the joy detectors. Those electric robots are quite hard to beat. And they're just the normal robots, the normal ones that just try to kill you and all that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the first DLC. Now, Lightbearer has a few tactics, and maybe a bit more than They Came From Below DLC. Now, Lightbearer is where you play as the Rockstar. You will learn about him in the original game if you do, like, the Lightbearer task or quest. And he does the make-believe songs, which is also part of the We Happy Few soundtrack, not sponsored. But yeah, as I was saying, Lightbearer has this guitar that you use when you find his amp, and you can use this to vibe. So vibe is to unlock the Nick statues, which give you clues to where all the things are that you need to get. And there is this, and there's rock as well, and there's also these different abilities. I'll get into those later. But yeah. So I guess there's not a bit more. I guess this is like the only thing I really need to tell you about it. Lightbearer though, I guess, isn't really as simple as They Came From Below. There's this really hard bit where you actually, I play it on Xbox One. You have to like turn your controller, literally backwards to actually do it because you're upside down. It's quite hard to do that. But yeah, just talking about the guitar, the other abilities are that you can do rock guitar, and there's a different ability when you get a new amp later on in the DLC, where if you hold it, I guess, you can put enemies to the ground and then you can get them. The guitar though also has a limited amount of battery, and then you have to wait for it to charge up again. It's a lot like the ray gun, but I guess a little bit simpler or a little bit harder. I mean, it depends on, you know, what console you're playing as or what you think about it. So yeah, guys, I was going to add a few extra bits, but I have to tell you right now, this is harder than it looks to actually do. I had to try and remember all the things I have to know and stuff like that. But yeah, I was going to add a few extra bits, but if this didn't really satisfy you, because this is technically everything you need to know about We Happy Few before the DLC, in my opinion. Yeah, I hope you, though, did really enjoy this video. And, yeah, I don't know what you think about it. Please leave a comment below and maybe subscribe to the Charlie Matthews channel. Actually, yes, do subscribe. And, put hashtag, about commenting again, put hashtag Victoria Bing or hashtag, somebody needs to save them. That's a line from the, Wheel Fall Down trailer. In the comments below, if you know you are hyped for the new final chapter of We Happy Few, We All Fall Down. That is the end of the video, guys, and I am afraid we have come to the end of our time.